Hello and welcome to the Hardy Brain, the show that takes athletic, introverted entrepreneurs and leaders and transforms them into ironclad brain performers. I'm your host, Dr. David Hardy, and today on our show, we've got an amazing guest. She is a lawyer, a public speaker, and has competed at the university and semi-professional levels in track and field and soccer, and is currently kicking ass in the obstacle course world as well. Welcome to the show, Katherine Simonson. How you doing there?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you're a bit of a performance junkie, aren't you?
Apparently, I guess so. Sometimes I kind of forget to look back and think about things I've done, but yes, yeah.
Well, let's look back. Kind of what has been like your career up to this point? Like uh even playing at the university soccer, track and field level and getting scholarships. That's an accomplishment. And you've taken it a bit farther, haven't you?
Thank you. It was awesome, and yes, I remember when I graduated undergrad, I thought that I would be done running, and now here I am at 35, competing internationally, running again. So that was really funny to me to kind of have that come full circle. But yeah, I never thought that there'd be any reason to stop.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Start exercising, never stop.
it's just too much fun.
I love it. Now, when you say fun, like some of these are pretty grueling events. Which ones have you kind of focused on or done in your career here?
So I was a 400 hurdler growing up.
The hardest event out there, yes, from what
Yeah,
I've
there's
heard.
a definitely a level of masochism with that race. Oh, but it was
well,
awesome.
well, to put that in perspective, like 400-meter hurdles, from what I've heard in scientific studies, is that they can accumulate enough lactic acid that a regular person would probably go into shock from. And they're able to build it up, clear it, and still walk the next day. Like, it's an
Yes.
insane event. Like, it is right on that verge of where sprint muscle just doesn't work anymore. And then you have to jump over another hurdle.
I've gone out too hot. And it's so funny in a 400 hurdles because it's a full sprint the whole time. Like
Yeah.
you have to go out at 100%. But if you go out at like 102%, that last 100 meters, you're just praying to get over those hurdles. Like, please God, let my legs get high enough. And I've eaten it on hurdles before. Ironically enough, not because I went out too fast. My foot hooked the hurdle right at
Oh,
the
no.
start of the 120, and I just like ate it. Straight skidded. I had like rubber stuck in my legs. Oh, it was hilarious. I finished the race. Actually,
Good.
still did really
Yeah.
well, but yeah, I was really frustrated.
No kidding. Was this like during a major event? Like,
I think, yeah, it was, I think some like tri province. It was like Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan battling it
okay.
out. Um, yeah, that was great. That was something.
That was it. Now, let's put this together too. Most people that kind of run these individual races, especially the hard, longer ones, uh, they're usually not team athletes as well, though. And then you did extremely well in soccer too, right?
I love team sports. Yeah, I mean, I played volleyball, basketball, everything in high school as well. And then soccer, yeah, in college and then overseas, back in the US. And I'm actually going to play again this summer. Play
Nice.
competitively in the Prem League here in Calgary. It's so different. Mentally, there's such a different approach to it. And I find it's actually kind of a nice reprieve than
Right.
doing solely individual sports. Plus, it's so fun.
Right.
Like it has my heart.
And where was the collegiate career then? And were you doing both track and field and soccer during your collegiate years as well?
So track was I got a full ride for the 400 hurdles for undergrad, and I asked if I could play soccer, and my coach laughed at me
No
and said,
way.
"Absolutely not, because you are too expensive right now to be here. We're not risking you get injured playing soccer." And so, yeah, that was a good no. But I had so you in the US, when you're an NCAA athlete, you have 5 years of eligibility. I did 4 years for track, and you're only allowed 4 years for one sport. The 5th year is usually if you redshirt or something. But I thought I have
Uh,
1 year left, I could play something. So I actually got a soccer scholarship to grad school. And that's where I
nice.
used that last year and played soccer. Yeah.
And then what's the allure then to kind of playing the semi pro, and where's that taking off now as a league?
Yeah, so I played over for Norwich when I was getting my master's of law over in England, and that was a ton of fun, very cold. And
Right.
then I played in the US 3 years ago. Time blurs. Um, I just wanted to keep playing and playing at the highest level I could. It was difficult because you need to kind of have this rapport and spend so much time on all these teams and kind of build a resume. And I didn't really have an opportunity to do that with soccer because I spent so much time focusing on track and field. So maybe one day is there an option to possibly play pro? I have no idea. That'd be pretty cool. But I have to kind of put those stepping stones in place before I could do something like that.
Right, absolutely. And you're balancing like a very successful career in law at the same time, aren't you? Or is that like
Doing my
so
best.
is that something you just do to pay the bills then?
It's so funny because sometimes people are like, why are you doing that? Like, why don't you go into coaching? Why don't you do something that's more conducive to your athletics, that's a little more synergetic? And I'm like, man, I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was 13. I love my job. It's so
Nice.
fun. It's so hard, but it's so fun. So I actually think having something very much outside my world of athletics is really beneficial to me.
Oh,
It actually has a
absolutely.
healthier balance.
And probably vice versa, that the athletics actually helps you to be able to sit down and read through boring and more boring law documents. Am I right on that? Like, what is this connection between? Okay, yeah, I'm going to sit down, and we know it's not all trial attorneys and shows like Suits in the law world. So, what is this dynamic in Katherine here that does both and very very well?
Okay. Sometimes it's boring, I'll give you that, but most of the time, because I do work in civil and corporate litigation, it it does feel kind of like Suits. I
Okay,
mean, like, not with the glitz and glamour necessarily. I love that show for the record. It just
it's a good
because
show.
it is. What I'm doing, I either get to help clients do things that are helping them grow their businesses, and that's really cool. And then on the litigation side, it's like playing chess
Mm.
and acting like a detective kind of overlaps. And that's just, I mean, it's so cool. It's so much fun. So there's constant intellectual stimulation, and that makes
Uh,
it less boring when it does become monotonous.
okay. Now, there's a big competitive side to both, correct? Or is it a self competitiveness? Is it an outside world one? What's the drivers there?
I've always been competitive. I
Yeah.
just am. It's in my blood. But I think that there's this really neat thing to strive for because I don't see a limit to my potential. And so I'm always like, what's the best I can do? If I'm going to put out a work product or if I'm going to compete in something, I'm going to do the best I can with whatever it is that I'm doing because I want to constantly be striving for, I guess, just a higher standard.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to see what I'm
And
capable of.
nice. So so this is like the elusive goal is this higher standard that That, yeah, when something's just in front of you that challenges you, it grabs your interest. Am I kind of right on that?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
I get ornery when I'm not being challenged. Like, I mean, and like you don't want to be constantly striving for the next thing, next thing, next thing, because then you don't really appreciate where you are and the process and kind of get to sit in everything that you are doing, which is often like really great or really exciting, or sometimes chill, which is necessary. But yeah, I like to have things to work towards.
Right. Now, what
Yeah,
is this chill side for you? Because right now it is just all go, go, go.
you're telling me. Okay, so yes, and I have gone 1,000 trillion miles an hour for so long. I'm learning finally, it's taken me years, that the slow time, the time where you're just chilling and you're not jam packing your schedule, that's really important for you to actually be able to decompress, regulate your nervous system, ground yourself. And without that, I find that it's easy to become overwhelmed and lose focus, or even more so to kind of sink into a survival mode almost, because
Right.
you're not taking time to actually, I guess, reset, recuperate, recharge. Oh my God, so many R's.
Yeah. Well, those those R's are needed though. But on that, like you've got to see people around you burn out. And you've probably been there as well. And you mentioned survival mode. Survival mode only works for so long and then people are just toast. Uh, where in all this achievement have you really had those low points where it's like, oh yeah, I'm barely holding on, or yeah, this is adding up. This is taking a toll on me now.
Yeah, I'm definitely susceptible to it as well. I learned it. I mean, I frequently learn this lesson because I'm constantly like, how far can I push before my body's like, slow down.
Done.
Last November, I got a virus at like the beginning of the month. I don't know what it was, but like I hadn't been sick like that in a very long time. I wasn't coughing or sneezing. I was just like my nervous system was fried. I was like I couldn't get out of bed. But after 4 or 5 days, I was like, "Oh, okay, I can move again. I can train again." And I had a couple races on the docket and I was like, "I want to run these races. I want to do well." And I started training when I shouldn't have. I should have taken 2 or 3 weeks and just honestly slept. And I was like, 5 days off is totally fine. And like jumped back into it, ran my first race, died. And then I was like, I'll take a couple days. And then I was like, I'm feeling kind of better. Ran my second race, died. And I was like, maybe that was not the way to go. So I ended up taking like 3 weeks in December of pretty much no training just to get my body back because I dug myself into such a hole.
Right.
Yeah.
And during this time too, you're trying to work, correct?
Of course, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. It was
So
it was not good.
what was the feeling at work then too when you're run down physically and just not at your best then?
It sometimes when I'm run down, it's harder to concentrate.
Right.
It's harder to just sit there staring at my computer getting the things done. So if it would normally take me 3 hours to get something done, it's going to take me five, which is a total pain. So I find when that's kind of coming up, I'm like, okay, I need to dial it back on training intensity a little bit because I can still get so much out of doing lower intensity work. Like
Mhm.
that's going to be still fantastic for me. So sometimes I need to dial back the intensity so that I can kind of recuperate that energy that I can then allocate towards work as needed, recovery as needed, and then I can kind of hit the ground running once my body has bounced back a bit.
Okay. And has there been other setbacks, major injuries? I would imagine you've had a few over.
I've actually been really lucky when it
Wow.
comes to injuries, with an exception. I broke my collarbone in 2019 and like shattered it, like bones floating everywhere. Oh, it was so gross. They
Oh,
showed me the X-ray
jeez.
and I was like, oh, it was terrible. And it was so frustrating. It was in a soccer game. I think it was the first or second game of the season. I was so excited for the season, and I was like, there goes outdoor, because outdoor is the best. I was so distraught, and I was like, you know what? I can be good to go by the last month of the season. I will figure it out. So I I had surgery. Surgery was necessary. I was in physio within a week after surgery. I think I went 4 or 5 days a week, and then I did all my exercises on my own. I think that's the cleanest I've ever eaten in my entire life, which is saying something because I eat pretty clean. I had like the most insane vitamin regime. I visualized my bones knitting back together. It was bananas. My physios called me Wolverine. I was cleared to play soccer in 10 weeks.
That is
So,
impressive. But mind
I
you, you
mean,
don't use your arms in soccer, do you?
I mean, I do. But, like, if you've ever anyone who's ever broken their collarbone, you don't
Oh,
realize how much it affects
how
everything.
much?
Like, you can't sleep laying down, like, you sleep sitting up, it's terrible.
No. It is a
Oh,
painful, painful injury. And even after it mends, then of course the shoulder just doesn't work as well. And
oh,
it can
it's
be a
terrible.
lingering annoyance even after the fact
Yes.
there. And yeah, back to the soccer comment there. Women's soccer can actually be very vicious. Like
Yes, women's soccer is mean. I've had girls punch me, I've had girls pull my hair, I've had girls, like, kick me in the back of the legs, I've had coaches say, "Hey, do whatever it takes to get that girl out of the game." Like, women's
wow.
soccer is nasty.
Yeah. Like how's that compared to the men's? Because the men's have a different reputation, I guess.
I mean, okay, there's some men's soccer that's fantastic. But
Absolutely.
yeah, when you see dudes that are throwing themselves off the ground, they show the replay and they weren't even hit, you're like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Like, how do you sit with that? I feel like I feel like an idiot, to be honest.
Now, with that being said, are you in uh, co-leagues or do you compete
Oh,
against some of the
no.
guys? No.
No, 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 absolutely not. Um, Co-ed leagues are, I find, more recreational,
Right.
and sometimes co-ed leagues are a weird dynamic, because it'll either be super chill and, like, kinda fun, or there'll be, like, 1 or 2 people that take it way too seriously given the quality of soccer that it is, but which just doesn't line up for where I'm trying to compete right now. But I find that the likelihood of getting injured in a co-ed league is so high.
I could see that. Yeah.
Everyone gets hurt playing co-ed sports, so I won't even
Yeah.
touch it.
Oh, I also find kind of sometimes the more competitive you are, your chances of getting injured in a non-competitive environment it just goes through the roof. Like it,
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
and yeah, there does need to be that separation between competitiveness and non-competitive fun. And yeah, there's a gray area in between. But how do you find it out there in these leagues? Is even in the competitive side, is there a big difference between skill levels?
I play in the top divisions, so generally, no. Usually
Okay,
everyone's, like, really quite good.
very good.
As soon as you drop down a division, yeah, there's more variability. And then if you drop down to, like, Division 2, for example, then you could have a really great team or you could have a team that's, like, kind of all over the place.
No, it just amazes me, like the athleticism in women's sports and just how much it's grown and developed. And two, it seems that there is the opportunity to be a multi-sport athlete. And I see that kind of disappearing though, as things become more and more competitive and less uh, maybe room for people to play in multiple sports because they're just training in one side and the competition is getting higher and higher. where do you think that's going in Canada with generations coming up? And is there a place for multi-sport athletes, or is it going to become more um, one league, one sport all year round?
I think, yeah, it's such a good point you're making. It's so frustrating because I love all sports. I want to play
Yeah,
everything. If I could play competitive basketball, volleyball, and soccer right now, I would. Like, and just
yeah.
interchange them each day. I think for young athletes, it is vital to not specialize.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, play everything until you're 16 and just enjoy it, like, love it. Even if you suck at one and you're better at another, just play all of them because you'll learn so many skills and your dexterity will improve, your agility and, like, just your body coordination will improve, but you won't burn out by the time you hit 18 because you've been playing tennis every day since you were 7.
Yeah. And I see that in boys sports. There's more kind of academy type things, and of course hockey takes the cake.
Of course.
These athletes go from one high level camp to the next to league play with no other sports in between, maybe some dry land training or something. But it is one sport, and um, I can just see kids maybe getting burnt out over their own sport, or once again not having that fun and thrill of learning another sport and being successful in it. Do you kind of see the same thing occurring, or?
Yeah, a little bit, especially because when you have an athlete specializing, and there's going to be exceptions where they just love the one sport and that's what they eat, sleep, breathe because it's
Absolutely,
just
there
that's their
are.
thing.
Yep.
But I find that when you focus too heavily, especially growing up on one sport, there becomes such a pressure to perform that it sucks the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And then mentally, you really struggle. So it becomes more of a job and less something that brings you joy.
And have you ever run into that yourself then, at any of these levels, or?
Oh my god, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, definitely. So when I finished undergrad, I qualified for the Olympic trials, and I actually
Hmm.
didn't run in them, and for years I was like, "Oh, I regret not racing in those. Like, I wish I raced in Olympic trials." And I
You
realized in
gave
hindsight
up on the Olympic trials.
I
Whoa.
realized that I was just burnt out.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, I know, and I really struggled with that for years. I beat myself up over that for years, and then it wasn't until the last year, like now, that I realized, oh, I was burnt out. Like my body was saying, no, you like you need to chill, dude. So in hindsight, like feel much more at peace with having not raced in those, even though for like 10 years I thought that I wasted a huge opportunity. But like I was burnt out. It
Well,
was what it was.
what a dichotomy, though. Like, we're driven for things, and yeah, there is that prestige of the Olympics and everything. And then, yeah, there's listening to ourselves, our own body, and how we're feeling. Now, if you think you pushed through it or made that attempt, would it have actually been successful, or would it have been maybe a disappointment because you knew you weren't feeling
I
it?
mean, I'm confident I would have made the final, which would have been very cool. But I was not running fast enough times to actually qualify for the team. So maybe that helped contribute to, I guess, the decision that was kind of being made subconsciously already. I don't know.
Right.
Uh, yeah.
I imagine though, having that taste in your mouth of oh, I should have done it, has also driven you elsewhere though, right? Since that, it's oh yeah, I had this, but now I'm so driven, I'm ready for this opportunity. Has that occurred too?
You know, it really has because I I I did all of these school I did all my degrees while playing sports, but after finishing law school, becoming a lawyer, I kept thinking, what if I had put off law school and just focused on pursuing being a professional athlete?
Hmm.
And I kind of lived with this regret. Like I had wasted opportunity. I'd wasted time in my life that was necessary to do that because everyone's like, oh, as you get older, excuse me, you can't do these things. Like you can't be a pro athlete. You can't this or that, whatever, compete internationally. And I really struggled with that because, like I said, I'm always striving to find out what my potential is, like where I can really step things up. So 2 years ago, I saw this race, Hyrox, and I was like, I need to give this a try. Like, I need to do something competitive to push myself. And while soccer was great, the issue that often comes up in team sports is the politics.
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
yeah. So sometimes it's not about, and I'm not saying this about me specifically, but it's not necessarily about whether or not you're the best player, you're this or that. Sometimes politics just gets in the way and you don't get the opportunities that you hopefully would have gotten otherwise had there not been any politics. So I threw myself into that and spent the last 2 years really grinding almost like to a point of frustration because it was so
Hmm.
outside my comfort zone, a different skill, different foundation. And now I think after spending 2 years struggling, I'm like, okay, I'm getting my footing, I'm figuring this out. And I think that it actually, I needed to go through all that to develop and grow as a person and as an athlete. And that's going to lead me to potentially maybe going to the Olympics. And maybe I did have to go through this very roundabout journey to eventually get to something that I wouldn't have foreseen, but would be really fantastic.
Nice. So, what is the opportunities coming up with it then?
Pentathlon, which is the most random thing I've
Wow.
ever heard. It's like, what? For those who don't know, modern pentathlon, there's an obstacle course race, there's swimming, there's fencing, and then there's running with laser gun. Pew, pew.
No way.
Yeah, it's like,
This
excuse
sounds
me.
exciting.
But here's the thing. I can obstacle course race. I
Yes.
won't drown and I
Nope.
can fence. Oh, and I can run and shoot. So I'm like, this is there's so much and there's enough variability that I don't think I would get bored.
No, not at
Um,
all.
yeah, because like I'm not about to go run half marathons or marathons. Like that's no, can't
That's
do it.
not
I'm
you.
so good.
No.
No. And what I sometimes struggle with Hyrox, even though it's been fantastic, is there's not a athletic element in the sense that it doesn't test your agility or your reflexes and stuff like that
Right.
because like that's just not the nature of the sport. So I'm like, oh, fencing.
Yeah.
I can test those things.
Huh. How have I not heard of this yet? Like, this does sound
So
exciting.
I think it's become being obscure because the first event that is now an obstacle course race used to be horseback riding.
Oh, okay.
And it's very difficult to have the means to be able to practice horse jumping.
Yes.
It's expensive. You gotta have, like you just it's so many things. You have to have access to it. So I think that it's gone relatively unknown just because of the difficulty to actually get access to it.
Hmm.
But now we'll see.
Now, if people are going to follow you, and they will be, and kind of on this journey here, uh, that would be on your Instagram. But they also have to read books, don't they?
I mean, they don't have to, but they should.
So on top of this all, you're running a book club on there, aren't you?
Yes, I love book
Yeah.
clubs so much.
Nice. That what sort of things are you reading there and getting others to follow with?
So I pick two books every month, and one is usually going to be some type of learning, growth, mental something book. And the other one's going to be something fun, usually some type of fiction, maybe sci fi. Like it's, yeah, I usually try and pick something fun and something learning so that
Okay.
if you want to pick one, you can pick one. If you want to pick both, even better. But yeah, I want to give variety.
What's been a couple of your favorites that you've recommended out to people?
Oh boy. Okay. Inner Excellence is one of my favorite books for growth, especially like as a person, but also as an athlete. Highly recommend. The Confident Mind by Nate Zinsser was excellent. Uh, my favorite book of all time is called Name of the Wind. It is a fantasy book in theory. I guess it's a fantasy book,
Yeah.
but it's written in such a way that everything just seems so realistic that it could be actually like just be real. And it's so well written that you just like you finish the book and you feel like there's a void in your life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm actually listening to it on audiobook now. The narrator's excellent for like the fourth time.
No, you're not doing that while jumping over obstacles at the same time, are you? Or you probably are, aren't you?
I listen to audiobooks while training all the time. That's actually how I get through so many of them.
Great
Like I'll
strategy.
do a hard workout and I'll listen to an audiobook.
Yes, yeah.
It
Well,
works.
fantastic. Now, how do people reach out to you or follow you? And how do they get more information about yourself?
Instagram. I don't have any other social media, so literally just my Instagram. It's my name,
Yeah.
my full name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate this, and once again, this is one of those fun conversations of somebody who is just interested in everything and going for it. And I really applaud you on everything you're doing. And I just have this feeling like this is just the beginning, and that there's way more coming. So I appreciate you sharing things with us, and appreciate your time. And for everyone listening, definitely check Katherine out and stay tuned to the next episode of The Hardy Brain, the show that takes athletic, introverted entrepreneurs and athletes and transforms them into ironclad brain performers. Take care.